still shaking. Thank you. Just gonna tell you guys, and please do this if I start rambling. I won't be offended. You can be like, wrap it up. Okay, yeah. It's just a little thing I put together, my BRI journey, or how I learned to stop worrying and love running a BRI chapter. Just real quick, just my background. I don't want to just say all the things I just said the other night. But basically, I got interested in free market economics in general when I was actually working before I even decided to go back to school to be a doctor. So I was already very interested in this. I was involved a lot in the libertarian presidential campaign and stuff. So I kind of got interested more in stuff when Obamacare started happening, when the Affordable Care Act started happening, more because I was worried about my family. And I was worried about the impact that it would have on them. That was my first thought, and then just people in general. And then when I decided to go back to medical school, I realized I had a chance to get involved and make a difference more so, and also that it would impact me and it would impact, my fellow workers. So that was important. Our chapter right now, so I'm the president, just kind of, that's me. And Lucas is here, he's the vice president. We also have Judah Horowitz, who isn't here today, is treasurer, and Jan Michael Reeves, who's secretary, is not here either. We also have two MS1s, Michael Mann and Helen. So, hi guys, thanks for coming. And just in general, I think it's probably hard to start a BRI chapter anywhere. I mean, you guys give me credit, and I appreciate that, because it is tough in New York City. But it is hard anywhere, and anybody that does it, I applaud you, because it's not easy. But just a little bit about Downstate, in case you're curious. So we're in Brooklyn, in New York, and we're a public medical school. In addition, we also are in a severely underserved community, so there's kind of three reasons why that makes it difficult. We're in New York. In addition, we're publicly funded, so there's a lot of state involvement. And the third thing is that we have a lot of students who come with the best intentions, hoping to help a very underserved community, and they kind of have it in their head that free market will cause more harm than good. So you have to fight that stigma while you're trying to, help these people who you genuinely want to help. So that does make it tough. I won't read this whole thing, but basically just about East Flatbush, just to emphasize how underserved it is. 344,000 people are currently uninsured, well, as of 2014, accounting for approximately 15% of all the uninsured in all of New York State. So, I mean, that's a huge chunk of people that are, in real need of help and real solutions. So basically, I just want to run through the events that we've had so far and just kind of what I've learned from them. So the first thing was the Student Activities Fair. So what's in a name? So the biggest thing I had that I hadn't even thought of was people would come up to me and say, okay, what's Benjamin Rush Institute? What does that mean? And I had to think of a quick elevator pitch way to not alienate people immediately, but be clear about our mission as well. So I kind of ended up going with, well, we're a health policy and economics interest group, and we have a bent towards free market solutions, but we're open to other options. That was kind of how I did it. Because we want to be honest, but we also don't want people to just turn off their ears as soon as they hear, what we're interested in because of their biases. So that worked out pretty well, and it drew a lot of people to our first event. And as I say, don't feed the trolls, because that was kind of where my fear of somebody kind of picking a fight with me it wasn't a fight. It was a very passionate person who had a lot of preconceived notions, who didn't really want to hear what I had to say. But basically, what I learned from that was, number one, it kind of backfired on this person, because a lot of people saw us engaging, and me trying to engage intellectually as best as I could with somebody who was just shouting at me. And people came back, because they were like, that was really exciting. Like my one friend, he used some terms that I won't repeat because I'm in polite company, but he was basically, I am so excited right now. When is the next event? And I was like still shaking, but he was excited. They came back. I think people might have come back because they were expecting a fight for the second event, and they were like, now it's really going to happen. But then they came because we had Josh Umber, I think everybody has heard his name now a dozen times, come and give his talk about Atlas MD. And we had a pretty good turnout. We had 30 to 35 people, and they all sat there for about 90 minutes just hanging on every word he said. It went so great. And I almost feel like if it hadn't been for that first event that it maybe got a few people to talk, we might not have gotten that kind of interest. And that actually worked really well. And just to track back real quick to the first general interest meeting, a really important thing that I learned, and you guys might already know this, I didn't, was I wanted to make people with differing opinions feel welcome. I didn't want to shut somebody down. So as this individual kept coming up with points that she wanted to share, I wanted to engage her intellectually and not say, okay, moving on, you know, and dismiss her. In retrospect, what I should have done was more redirect, you know, answer the questions, but then say, that's a really good question. What do you guys think about that? Would you like to have another meeting that discusses that subject? You know, she brought up, well, isn't direct primary care not sustainable? Well, instead of me saying, yes, it is, these are the reasons why, I should have said, would you guys want to come back and have a discussion about that? Because that's really what we're trying to do. So if anybody else ever finds himself in that situation, that might help. I don't know.
Great. That's great, Mary.
Yeah, I thought of that the next day. So.
Of course.
I was like, oh, God. But definitely learned a lot from that. And so to jump back ahead then, so then we had Dr. Umber, wonderful. And then that drew a lot of interest. I sent out, you know, emails afterward, and I said, what do you guys think? And of course, anybody who's had him come speak, he's there for 30 minutes afterward with a little, you know, clutch of students around him, just like, tell me more, tell me more. So I got a lot of positive feedback about that. That was great. And then a decent amount of people also came then out for Beth, because the question was, this is so interesting what Dr. Umber is talking about, but I don't know what these words mean. I don't understand a deductible. I don't understand how the insurance model works. I don't understand the basics. I don't understand supply and demand. So, you know, Dr. Haynes came in and gave a really great background and gave a really good, solid foundation. And I think that was really important. So that was also very well received afterward, too. Okay, and then just to wrap up, because I know we're on a time. The other thing we had, we were required to have, like, some kind of community service learning event at Downstate. And of course, we'd want to do that anyway because we want to give back, because we want to show the power of voluntary, giving. So we actually just had a fundraiser. We raised about $550 for a local kind of after-school program called East Flatbush Village that I'm involved with through another club at school. And of course, that was very rewarding, and once again showed, we can come up with solutions too to help people who need them. And then the last thing was I guess just in January, we had a screening of Poverty, Inc. And that wasn't at the best time of year. It was right before our exams. It was 5:30 at night because the schedules didn't match up. We still had a decent turnout, and people were interested. And overall, I think we're kind of setting ourselves up in a good place. So I kind of guess that's it. Just the advice, to sum up: emphasize the common ground. When I was involved, again, this is different. I'm not saying that BRI is the same as a libertarian party. I don't want to make that idea. But the thing that we did was we did something called a Libertarian Love Bomb on February 14th, where we went on Twitter and we started tweeting about all the things that we had in common with people who might have different ideologies. And that's so powerful. And I'm so glad that we've been focusing on that, because the ability to do that is, you can really open up doors that, you never thought you could. And then just try your best to dispel common myths, because a lot of people going in, they assume that the US currently has a free market system and they think it's failed. And we don't have a free market system. They assume that everybody else has single payer, which is also not accurate, or they don't really know anything about other systems. They think that you're an insurance company shill and you love insurance companies and you want them to have all this power. Well, that's not an accurate statement either. Or that you're out to destroy Medicaid. That's another fun one. And then, no, I don't club baby seals either, just for the record. That's not something. And then the very last thing, for anybody that doesn't speak Latin, roughly translates to, don't let the bastards grind you down. So if anybody is, I mean, of course, we always want to be compassionate. We always want to lead with love and everything. But when you encounter people that are really out to, kind of make you feel like you're wrong, just don't let them get to you. So that's pretty much my piece.